Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday. We're staying in Berryville, Clarke County again this week, talking with Nathan Stalvey. He is the Executive Director at the Clarke County Historical Association. Nathan, you are on the precipice of another art at the mill, and you don't look any the worse for wear, so I'm impressed.
Oh, I hide my stress well. Well, that plus this is, believe it or not, this is my 20th Art at the Mill show. I guess at this point, I'm very used to the scheduling. It's very stressful, but it is extremely rewarding, and it is one of the coolest things that we do. It's one of the coolest art shows you're going to see in the entire region. So I'm very happy about it. It's a lot of work, but it is unbelievable once it's up and running.
At this stage in the game, is there anything that pops up that's a surprise?
No, not really. I mean, at this game, we've kind of seen it all. There's always some kind of surprises. I don't think there's anything we haven't seen. So we're just always prepared for something that comes up. You just never can tell. But it's no big surprises. Everything's running smoothly. Our art show volunteers they're crushing it again at the art show, getting the work installed. They're a little ahead of the game this year, and a lot of our planning for the art show is actually a little bit further ahead than it has been. So I'm very excited about that. Yeah,
That is way
considering
cool.
that there's a shorter turnaround time between the spring and fall art show, and that we're already a little bit ahead on things. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very good.
So the fall show opens on Saturday, September 20th. It'll run through Sunday, October 5th. Remind me, because doesn't the fall show start somewhere around your birthday? Because it always ends somewhere around mine.
Correct. This year it opens to the public the day before my birthday. My birthday is on September 21st. So if you want to come by and say happy birthday to me and buy some art, I'll be at the mill on my birthday. So please come by.
And
Lots of good art to buy.
it ends the day before my birthday. So if they want to
Oh,
come by the
interesting.
mill and buy me some art, that works as well.
There you go. Yes. Anything orange for Janet Michael. If it's got orange in it, chances are she'll enjoy it.
Absolutely. Or if it has coffee, that's what is hanging on my wall
Or coffee.
behind me. That painting doesn't have any orange in it, but it is a coffee cup. So tell me about some of the art. How many submissions did you have? How many pieces will there be? Give me some details.
So this year we went a little for this fall, our jury got a little more stringent on the work. So normally we accept between 950 to 1,000 works. This year accepted just under 900. We still had over 1,200 submissions. So we had to do a little more stronger jurying, but I assure you the work in this show is incredible. The jurors, I know I say this every show, I cannot speak enough about the great work that the jurors do. They really know what sells. They do a fantastic job. Each show just keeps getting better and better. There's some really, truly amazing stuff in this show. The jurying has gotten a little tighter, but so if you want to submit and you get in, you've done well. You've done very, very well.
And some artists actually get more than one piece that's accepted. Those are stellar artists normally.
Yes, exactly. Some people get 4 to 5 pieces in, some people just get one.
And these are artists that some are local to the Shenandoah Valley, some are Virginia, but there are artists up and down the East Coast, right?
Oh, that's true. We've got some in Ohio. We've got some all of South Carolina, all over the place. People who've heard about the show, the word about the show is really spread. People who used to live around here have moved away and still want to be part of the art show. They're still involved. And that's just how much this art show, the legacy this art show has with so many people in this area.
And when we talk about art, we're not just talking about a traditional canvas that you hang on the wall. You have a pretty diverse selection of art pieces that people can see, enjoy, and purchase.
Absolutely. There's all price points, all media. We've got oil, acrylic, glass, pottery, woodworking, you name it. There's sketches, there's watercolors. It's a lot of it's traditional, so you're not going to see any photography. You're not going to see any digital art. This is all traditional art, but a lot of different styles that you're going to see there. So something for everybody.
And a lot of sizes. It always amazes me how large a piece of art can actually be. And you've had some pretty large pieces, and then you've had tiny art. So it really does run the gamut there as well.
Oh, it does. I've seen art that's 4 inches by 4 inches, and I've seen art that's 5 feet by 6 feet, and everything in between.
When the show is hung and you are walking around just looking at everything, are there things that you specifically look for or that jump out to you?
Honestly, every show I look for paintings of the Burl Morgan Mill. I always look, that's just because being the executive director of CCHA, I always want to see what kind of paintings are of the mill in the show. And then I like to see what paintings about the local area. If there's paintings from around Clarke County that I see, I love to see those. And then otherwise, I just look at stuff that just speaks to me. I can't tell you what it is. They're just, I'll walk around and then suddenly there's a piece for some rhyme or reason. It just says, hello, this is something you like. That's what I look for.
I can talk enough about how cool it is to have that art hanging in the mill. So when you talk about looking for a painting or looking of some sort of representation of the Burwell Morgan Mill, it in and of itself is a piece of art. And then you add all of this to it. It is such an experience.
It really, really is. It's not like your normal gallery. It's not like a normal art gallery you're going to see. This is an historic mill. There's millstones. There's an activated water wheel. There's 18th century stonework and beams all over the place. It's very different than your standard art gallery.
And it's two stories. It's not just
Yes.
one floor either. And then you find all these. The thing that has always amazed me as well is as you're walking around, you will find art tucked into nooks and crannies. Everywhere you look, there is something. It's not that you're just looking at the timbers of the mill. There's probably a hand blown glass vase somewhere tucked in under the stairwell, things like that. You do a really good job of spreading everything out.
It's a show that you can't just quickly run through. You got to take your time. And when pieces sell, other pieces are brought in to take its place. So you can come back a few days later and the show will look very different.
And that's important for people to understand. So, when you're talking about accepting a little under 900 pieces of art, there's no way you would have room to hang all of that on opening day. So, as people come in, the beauty of this show too is that they can buy something and take it home with them that very day. But then you bring new things in. I love that several years ago you added the online gallery. So now I can go in on Saturday the 20th and look at everything and maybe find something that's still upstairs that hasn't even made it to a wall yet, and I can buy it anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I love having the online gallery, which will go live the day that the show opens on September 20th. So people can take a look at what's out there. They can look up by artist, they can look up by title, and they can see what's there. They can make a drive down to the Burl Morgan Mill and come and buy some art and look around. Or if they want to buy it, they can call during when the mill is open. They can call and we can place the order on the phone, and then they come at some point and pick up the work.
What are the hours for the show?
So the show is open every Sunday through Friday from 12 to 5, and the Saturdays of the show from 10 to 5. And again, that's from September 20, every day from September 20th to October 5th.
And don't you normally also do some sort of an artist reception?
We do, and that'll be on Sunday, September 28th, and that'll be at 2 o'clock. And that's a great way, a great day to come and meet some of the artists, a chance for you to come and get to know them, and for the artists to meet each other. That's always such a nice event, seeing all of these artists that come in and interact with each other, and then the buyers interacting with the artists as well. It's a pretty magical afternoon.
There, I would imagine, are a lot of people that have their own routines for how they come and spend their time at Art at the Mill. I could see where somebody does it on a Saturday or on a Sunday and they come through and they see everything. I have friends that like to do it on the weekdays because it's less crowded and they can walk around and see everything. They get a lunch at Lock Store and they sit on the picnic table. Maybe they do the first floor, they eat lunch, and then they go do the second floor. There are a lot of traditions for this show that people have created over the years.
Oh, there is. And having Lock Store across the street really helps. People can come, they can eat, they can grab a sandwich, they can sit outside the mill, sit on the meadow, go back in. You can make a day of it. It's not just pop in and out. You just really make an afternoon of it.
And you've got parking there at the mill as well. Sometimes you don't think so just by driving by, but you drive through the parking lot, you have more parking down below.
Yes, that's very true. There's additional parking down below. We try to make enough space for everybody.
Is there an admission fee for someone who wants to come and wander around?
For somebody who wants to come in and visit Art at the Mill, it's $5 adults, $3 seniors, and students are free.
And if you're lucky like me, I'm showing you on the Zoom that nobody can see on the radio, you have bought a piece of art or are on your mailing list. I have my postcard, which is a free admission that I always forget to bring with me when I come, and I end up paying the $5 anyway.
Exactly. So yeah, if you get on our postcard list and you bring your postcard, that is free admission. Yes.
How do you decide what piece of art goes on that postcard?
Again, that's the jury. The jury and the art show committee, they look at what's been juried in and they choose from a handful that they really like. And then they pick the one that they think is one that will really pop out on postcards and in advertisements as well.
I wonder if there are people out there that try to buy the piece of art that matches the postcard so they can have them side by side.
Oh, it happens. It definitely happens. There was one person, one show who waited right outside the door the day we opened just to get the feature piece. So yeah.
I like that person. That's commitment.
That is commitment, yes.
So, what is the address for the mill? If somebody is listening today and they've not ever been there, how do they get there?
It is in Millwood, Virginia. It's 15 Tannery Lane, Tannery, and that is in Millwood, Virginia, 22646. And it's right off of Route 50. There's highway signs on the road. You can't miss it for Art at the Mill and for the Borough Morgan Mill. So just follow those signs.
And where can people go get more information during the break?
So if you go to clarkehistory.org, remember Clarke is spelled with an E, and you'll see Art at the Mill, and you'll have all the information about the art show right there.
You've got an exhibit opening that's coming up in September, ghost tours for October, and something about whiskey. So, can we do all of that in the next segment?
Absolutely.
We are on the Zooms today for Tourism Tuesday, Berryville, Clarke County edition. Nathan Stalvey is joining me. He is the executive director at the Clarke County Historical Association. Art of the Mill, again, opens on Saturday, September 20th, runs through October 5th. We're going to come back and learn about some of the other events and activities happening in just a couple of minutes. In just one day, you can help shape a stronger, more connected community. On September 19th, United Way of Northern Shenandoah Valley will lead Day of Caring, the region's largest single-day volunteer event. Over 900 volunteers will roll up their sleeves to help local nonprofits with projects that matter. Painting classrooms, repairing shelters, planting gardens, organizing food pantries. Whether you're a business looking to sponsor, a nonprofit in need of an extra set of hands, or a neighbor ready to serve, there's a place for you on Day of Caring. This is what community looks like when we come together. This is care in action. Learn how to get involved at unitedwaynsv.org/Day of Caring or email dayofcaring@unitedwaynsv.org. One day, hundreds of hands, lasting impact. Join us. Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday, Berryville, Clarke County edition. Nathan Stalvey is on the Zooms with me. He is the executive director at the Clarke County Historical Association. We talked in the first segment about Art at the Mill. Happens every spring, happens every fall. This year it opens on Saturday, September 20th, and will run through Sunday, October 5th. All the details you can find at clarkehistory.org. But Nathan, when you were on the show, I don't know if it was our last conversation or the one before that, you had hired someone new at CCHA. And I was joking with you before we got started that they really hit the ground running because you have an exhibit opening coming up later this month.
That's true. I can't speak enough about Dana Getka, our curator of archives and exhibitions. Her first big project, she has been working on an exhibition here in our CCHA museum in Berryville that focuses on the Spanish flu epidemic in the early 19th century in Clarke County. She's been using Clarke County's resources. She's been using our archives, newspaper clippings, stories, all kinds of stuff to develop this exhibit and to highlight what was going on during this time. And I think it's a cool exhibit to have up, especially through the Halloween season and things like that, to really look at this part of our local history that really wasn't talked about a lot. And she's done a fantastic job. Her enthusiasm for history is just unbelievable. Her energy level, she's just somebody that's truly just this nice, brings this amazing atmosphere when she comes into work. She's doing such a good job with this, and I cannot wait for this exhibit to open.
The thing that I appreciate about all of our local history organizations is that you can take something like the Spanish flu that most of us have heard of, but think about in a much broader sense and be able to say, no, this is what happened right here in your backyard. This is how it impacted the people that lived across the street from you, however many years ago. You can really drill that down to such a local level that it seems more relatable to people in their community.
Absolutely. You got to think some of these larger stories like World War One, the Spanish flu, all kinds of larger national and even international events that happen, they happen on the local level too. And that's what this exhibit's going to focus on is when this big thing, the Spanish flu hit the whole world. And here we are covering it as it hit Clarke County. She's doing this amazing thing where you kind of see how the number of people that it infected expanded in such a short time. It's going to be a really amazing way of looking at just how deep an impact this had. I can't wait for it to open. It's going to be something else.
So, walk me through how that looks. I admit I haven't been over in quite some time. We need to go back to recording our shows in person so that I at least get to walk around and see some things while I'm there. So, people come in, and will it be interactive displays? Are there things that they can read and look? What kind of an exhibit is it going to be?
It's going to be things where people can read and look, but it's history, but it's done in an artistic way to really get the message across of just how bad this pandemic was. It was bad on the local level. There's going to be some descriptions at the beginning where when you walk into the CCHA museum, that is our temporary exhibit space. And as a matter of fact, as we're speaking, we're getting it painted and spackled right now, specifically to get this exhibit up and running. It's going to look amazing. So when people walk in, that's what they're going to see right when they walk in.
And then you have permanent exhibits, or I say permanent, but you freshen them up as well. But things of a certain topic that are there anytime people come by.
That's correct. We do have a permanent exhibit on display that looks at the all of Clarke County's history and highlights some of the really cool items in our historic collection. We've got Lord Fairfax's chest. We've got this 18th century sundial. There's a lot that we have in our collection that just highlights the evolution of Clarke County's history from the late 18th century all the way up to the modern day.
Weren't you telling me in a previous conversation that you were finally able to move all of your collections to that one site and now they're not scattered about in different storage
Yes.
units?
Yes, it is so nice to have everything on site right now. We've got all the bound copies of the Clarke Couriers right here on site. They've all been digitized, which I'm very excited about. We've got our entire historic collection all on site in a nice climate controlled facility right here beside the museum. It's so nice to have everything here on site without them scattered. I mean, it's great that we have so many items in our collection that they had to be scattered to numerous places, but now they're all here. And one thing I do have to give a shout out to the Clarke County government on that. They allowed us to make this happen. And they've been very supportive of us as an organization. And I can't say enough about the Clarke County government. They're great people to work with. The county administrator, Chris Boyce, Michelle Brown at the tourism office, the county board of supervisors, they're all amazing people. And I can't thank them enough for how much they support local history.
How many of them do you think will come to your ghost tours?
I don't know. I hope all of them, but the ghost tours are very fun.
When do they start and how do they work?
So the ghost tours we call the haunted historic Berryville, and we've done this now for several years in a row. They're big hits, and we do them in October before Halloween. And this year we're doing them on Thursday the 16th, Friday the 17th, and Saturday the 18th. Tours start on the half hour starting at 6:30. So there'll be a 6:37, 7:30, and an 8 o'clock tour. The last tour leaves at 8 o'clock each night. We've got tour guides. We walk around downtown Berryville talking about some of the history of Berryville, but also some of the darker history of Berryville, some of the spookier historical events that happen in Berryville throughout its history. So it's a learning experience, it's a historical experience, but it's also pretty spooky too.
Is there a fee to attend to be part of one of those?
Yes. So one thing I would say is when people go to get their tickets, I would get them online because they do sell out. They're $20 per person. We can accommodate up to 30 people per tour. So definitely sign up, get your tickets now because they are going to sell out fast.
How much research do you have to do to be able to put those together? I think sometimes people think, oh, it's just people walking around talking about this or talking about that, but there's a lot of background and research that you have to do.
Oh, there is. There's a lot that we have to go into it. So we do our work, we do our research, we do our work, but it's a fun kind of research to do.
That sounds like the answer that Martha gave me on the show last week when we were talking about trivia returning to the Barns of Rose Hill. So her episode aired last Tuesday. And of course, we'd already missed the September. So October is still just around the corner. And I was talking about how much research and information you and she need to put together in order to make those trivia nights a success. There's a lot of work on the backside.
There is. I mean, when we ask those questions for trivia, we have to ask questions that people can't say, actually, it could be this or it could be that, depending on how you word it. No, these questions have to be like, there is no room for conjecture on these. So, yeah, we have to do our research. The good thing is that's part of my background is research.
And those you've gotten to the point where you're only doing them now in the spring and in the fall because they're so well attended that it gets to be a little overwhelming.
It does. And Martha and I, we wear a lot of hats. We both run small staff nonprofits that do a lot of programs. So we only have the bandwidth to do them 3 times in the spring and 3 times in the fall. It's just with the rest of our schedule, it gets pretty tight.
And what night are those again?
It's the first Tuesday of the month. So it will be for October, it'll be Tuesday, October 7th.
Tell me about this whiskey talk that you have.
So the whiskey talk, I'm very excited about. It's part of our VA 250th programming. And we're having somebody that's coming in to talk about basically the 18th century. There's going to be some tastings. So people can taste different types of whiskey that would have been made in the 18th century and comparing it to some of the more modern day whiskeys. In the 18th century, this is what people drank mostly. Whiskey was the thing. Whiskey was very American. Bourbon was very American. That's something Americans are very proud of. And in fact, Daniel Morgan, when he was doing some work at the Borough Morgan Mill, he was paid in whiskey a lot of times. He wasn't paid in cash. He's, I've got money. Just give me whiskey. And so sometimes people did work for whiskey. And this is going to talk about that. And especially with Daniel Morgan, and we're going to talk about him and the Whiskey Rebellion, and then also his role in that, and then his love of whiskey, like most people in the 18th century.
When and where is that going to be?
That's going to be at the Borough Morgan Mill, and that is going to be on October 18th at 2 p.m.
And do I need a ticket for that?
Yes, again, you go online. It's $40 for non-members, $30 for members. And you're going to go online to clarkehistory.org/events. And that's where you'll find tickets to all of these events.
And I would hazard a guess to say that likely will sell out as well because the mill isn't that big for an event like that. So tickets are going to be limited. But this is a really interesting topic that people haven't heard a lot about before. So I'm guessing they should get their tickets sooner rather than later.
Yes, it is limited seating. So I would get your tickets sooner rather than later. Yes.
And then before we wrap up, the exhibit that you have opening on the 24th of September, how long will it run? You mentioned it was a temporary exhibit.
It'll run through November, but I will say on Wednesday, September 24th at 6 p.m., we're going to have a small opening reception, and curator Dana Getka will give a brief talk on the exhibit, on the research, and how it all came together. She'll take some questions from the audience as well, so it's free. There's going to be light refreshments, so please come on out. It's a completely free event. It'll be at 6 o'clock at the CCHA Museum in Berryville.
And tell me again, where can I go get more details about everything we've talked about today?
clarkehistory.org.
And Clarke has an E on the end.
That's right.
We always have to remind everyone. Even my AI forgets to put an E on the end of Clarke County.
Yeah. Oh, mine too. Mine too.
I think it thinks I'm in Vegas. Thank you for taking some time to give me an update on all the cool, fun things you're doing over there. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Janet. Thanks for having me.
I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today. So tune in for that just a few minutes after noon.